welcome back guys, it's Miss Shah. So for today's session you're going to need a pencil, some paper, and you're going to need to access the worksheet on multiplication in the Grange school website under the year 4 section. And from now on, every Thursday or Friday we're going to do a multiplication based lesson, because you guys know the importance of multiplication in every single lesson or maths session that we do. A lot of it is involved around being able to multiply effectively and efficiently. Okay, so hopefully from now on we're going to do this once a week so that you guys are able to, get better and faster. If you're already good, we need to get faster at being able to work out multiplication sums, whether it's 1 digit, 2 digit, or 3 digit. Okay, so pause the video for yourself and go and grab all the things that you need before we move on. Okay, so we're also going to do a mini times tables test in these sessions on a weekly basis. So we're going to start off with, the basic, doing our 3 times tables. We're going to move on to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then we're going to move on to, mixing them as you get better. So we'll have around 8 to 10 questions every week. So you've got your 8 questions here. What I want you to do is pause the video for yourself for around a minute and answer the following 8 questions. You should only take 6 seconds to answer the following 8 questions. You should not take longer than 6 seconds to answer it, because in your times tables test you only have 6 seconds. So pause the video for about a minute and answer these questions. Okay. Now these are your times tables test answers. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 8 is 24, 3 times 11 is 33, 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 9 is 27. As you can see how fast I've said it, that's how I want you guys to be able to respond back. 3 times 3, 9, 3 times 7, 21. That's how you guys should be able to do it with all the practice that you should be doing. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is write the short date at the top right hand corner, and underneath it, just like we do in our maths book, write down the learning intention, which is to be able to use the short method of multiplication to multiply 2-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. Okay, so you might know other ways, but today we'll try the short method in order to help us with multiplications. Okay, so by the end of the lesson you should be able to set out your calculations correctly. Start at the right hand side when calculating, multiplying the ones and then the tens, and so on and so forth. And then you could be able to regroup tens, hundreds, and record this in the next column. Okay, short multiplication. We're going to learn how to multiply using the faster method. So short multiplication. So the multiplication question here is, what is the multiplication question, guys? Have a look at this grid. What does it say? Well done. The question here for us is 51 multiplied by 9 or times 9. So the first thing that we do is, which column do we need to look at? First, set out your calculations correctly with one number in each square. Use a ruler to draw your lines. Calculate the ones digits first. Multiply 1 by 9. 1 times 9 is 9 ones. Write this in the ones column. Now calculate the tens digit. Multiply 5 tens by 9. So 5 times 9 is 45. Tens equals to 450. Write down the tens digits in the tens column. Write down the hundreds digit in the hundreds column. Okay, so start look at these two examples now. Start at the right hand side while calculating and multiplying the ones and the tens. Let's look at 32 times 4. What I want you to do is pause the video for a minute or two and have a go at answering the following two questions. What's the first step and how do we set it out? So 2 times 4 is what? 8. Well done. Now we move on to the next column, which is the tens column. So 3 tens, which is, well done, 30 times 4 is, 3 times 4 is 12. Good. So that's how we set it out. Now let's move on to the next one. 61 times 7. So what's the first thing that we do? Well done. We do 1 times 7, which is 110, which is 1. It's ones, so it's single. It's not a 10. So 1 times 7 is 7. And then we move on to the next column, which is the tens column. So 6 tens are, well done, it's 60. 60 times 7, or we could do 6 times 7, which is 42. Well done. And then the 4 goes into the hundreds column, because 60 times 7 is 420. So let's have a go at the regrouping one. So here we go. The procedure is the same. When multiplying, we always start from the right hand side and we work our way to the left. So we start off with the smallest number, which is the ones. Then we move into the tens and hundreds. So 6 times 8. First, set out your calculations correctly with one number in each square. Use a ruler to draw your lines. It is also very important that you put the numbers correctly underneath each other. So ones underneath the ones, tens underneath the tens, hundreds underneath the hundreds. Because even that slight mistake of not putting the numbers correctly underneath each other can give you the wrong answer. Okay, so calculate the ones digit first. 6 times 8 is 48. We can only put ones in the ones column. Alright, the 8 over here. And where does the 4 get carried over? Okay, we need to regroup the 40 ones into 4 tens. These go into the tens column right 4 under the line. Well done. Now calculate the tens digit. 4 times 8. So 410 times 8 equals 32 tens, which is 320. We need to add the 4 tens that we wrote under the line. This makes 36 tens. Write 6 tens in the column. So 4 times 8 is 32. And then we've added the 4, which becomes 36. And then that leaves us with the 3 tens in the hundreds column. And then we put the 36 there, like that. Okay. Now, first set out your calculations correctly with one number under each square. That's the most important thing when multiplying, adding, or even taking away, is making sure that you have set the calculation out correctly and accurately, the correct numbers under the correct columns. Then we start off with calculating the ones. Regroup any tens in the answer and then write them in the tens column under the line. Now calculate the tens. Don't forget to add any tens that you have written underneath the line when you have regrouped, because sometimes we tend to forget the regrouping ones and then we also get the wrong answer even though you followed all the other steps correctly, but you've just forgotten to add the regrouping numbers. Okay, so let's have a go at these two questions with the regrouping before we move on. So pause the video for 2 minutes, a minute per question, and answer the following questions. Remember to start off on the right hand side and work your way towards the left. Okay, so So after you've paused the video, let's start off with the first question. 86 times 6. So we start off with ones. 6 times 6 is, well done, it's 36. We put the 6 there and we carry the 3 over. 8 times 6 is 48. Well done. 48 plus 3, that's left over from the bottom, is 51. And then we put the 51 as it's shown over here. Okay. And now 6 times 9 is 54. We've put the 4 in the ones column and carry the 5 over to the tens column. 5 times 9 is 45, plus the 5 that's been carried over is 50. So your answer is 504. Alright, we're going to spot the mistake now. Can you find and correct the mistake in this calculation? What I want you to do is pause the video for around a minute and have a go at spotting the mistake. What mistake has this person made? What have they done wrong? Okay, so now that you've paused the video and had a go, let's try. 9 times 9, we start with the 1, is 81. We put the 1 there, we've carried the 8 over. Well done, that's correct. 2 times 9 is 18. Great. They've written 18 here, but what have they forgotten to do? They have forgotten to add the 8 that they've carried over to the 18 to make it 26. So if they had added the 8, this would have become 22 here, and the 6 would go here, 26. So the answer that they should have gotten should have been 261. Now let's have a go at this one. Pause the video for around a minute and see what mistake they have made. Remember to start off with the ones and work your way to the left. Okay? So 7 times 7 is 49. They've got the 9 there and written the 4 there, which is excellent. And then 7 times 7 again is 49. So what they've done is they've added the incorrect amount. So instead of this being 53, they have put 52. Let's have a go at this one last example before you move on. Okay, so pause the video for around a minute and work your way through it. You all know what we start off from. We start from the right, and work our way to the left. So after you've paused the video, you can stop the video, continue watching the video to go through the answer. So let's start off with the ones column. So 7 times 6 is 42. Well done. So they have worked out the wrong calculation. Okay, so once they've got the 42, that 3 should be a 2, the 4 needs to be carried over. And then 5 times 6 is 30. So this over here is correct, it is 31, but because this should have been 42, they've got the whole calculation done correctly, although they are using the correct method. So the answer instead over here should be 342 instead of 13. Okay, well done. What I want you to do now is on the Grade G4 website, you will see a multiplication challenge, challenge 1 and challenge 2. You're more than welcome to choose whichever challenge suits you best. You can try both if you want. And remember, when completing the task, to set out your calculations correctly, to start at the right hand side when calculating, multiplying the ones and then the tens, and you move on so and so forth, and to regroup tens and hundreds and record this in the next column. So those are the steps that you need to make sure you're following when completing the task. Good luck with the task, and we'll continue this multiplication lesson for the following week after on the Friday. Good luck guys, and send over any work that you do.